Okay, guys, good afternoon. Today, what can I say about Angelino? I met him last summer vacation when I was with my family in Ibiza. It's a beautiful island in Spain, and that's where he is at the moment, making me for sure very, very jealous because in Belgium at the moment it's gray sky, kind of snowing, kind of raining, so
Oh
it's
no.
really it's bad weather and it's cold. It's 0 degrees. And look at him. He has sunglasses on. Um, yes, I'd like to know. I'm going to get to know him with you guys because I know a little about him. But this hour is going to be lots of surprises and I can't wait to get to know him better. So, Angelina, welcome and please introduce yourself to us.
Hello, thank you for being
Uh,
here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity as well, Simone, to you. And I'm here in Spain, Ibiza. And in Ibiza, I'm in Santa Eulalia del Rio, which is the richest council of Spain and is top 5 in Europe. So it's a very posh area. And let's see if I can show you a little bit about it. But
If I
change
make
it
you
somehow.
co-host, maybe you can
No,
share
I
your
mean, I wanted
screen.
to change the camera into the other direction, but
Ah, yeah, okay.
there we are. So this is the port. Over there, you have a church on top. So it's a
mhm.
very little village, yeah? And this is the beach, and then it stops over there. Over there, you have siesta, and then there are no more houses, just a couple of single villas. So it's a very small uh, city, let's call it pueblo. It's very small, huh? And behind the port, there's a port. Behind the port, here, behind the port, that's where I live. So from where I am right now to my home is 5 minutes walk. Yeah? It's a very nice area to be. And I live here all year long. I only work 6 months in a year. And 6 months in the winter we don't work. So we work only in the summer. In the winter we don't work. Originally I'm from Italy, but my parents migrated to Germany. So I grew up. I was born and I grew up in Germany. Then I moved to the UK. That's where I studied. And after the UK, I tried Germany again. But once you're out of Germany, it's very difficult to go back. It's the same with the cities. Once you're out of the city, it's very difficult to move back into the city. And now I've been living here in Spain for nearly 12 years, and I'm really enjoying it. And so far, I didn't had enough so far. And one of the reasons really I like Spain and especially Ibiza is because I'm close to the sea. I'm a water person, so I really go into the sea. Even nowadays, I still go swimming. I go for short swims, like 5 minutes. But if I do put a wetsuit on, I can stay for 1 hour or even 2 hours. But right now, I'm even in now. We have December. I'm with a t-shirt, so it's fantastic weather. So yeah, you're very welcome to ask me questions. That's so far, basics that I can tell about myself, and feel free to ask any questions.
All right, thank you. Mateus, please go ahead.
Angelino, what's the water, the seawater like in Spain? Because in Brazil, depending on where you are in the country, you may find cold, very cold water, or just cold and then a bit warm water. How is that?
Well, at the moment, it's still warm because really cold. It gets really cold in February, March. And those are the
Mhm.
coldest water temperatures. I can't give you numbers though, but you can easily go in and stay 5 minutes in the water and then go out. Make sure you have a nice warm tea afterwards, and it's really healthy and it's really good for the body as well. So if you're used to cold showers and stuff like that, the water is amazing, especially now because the problem is we have a lot of tourists. We live from tourism. Okay, this is a
Mhm.
tourist area, so in the summer you have a lot of people coming with sun cream, and the water gets a bit dirty as well. So the winter time, that's where the nature recovers, and that's the beauty about it as well. So I enjoy winter a lot more than summer.
Okay, see. Thanks for responding.
All right, Renato.
Hi, Angelina. Nice to meet you. It's my pleasure. I meet the effort to to be here in our 11 a.m. because I'm going to a fraternization at noon with my motorcycle group. But I decided to stay here because the invite of Simone, okay? But it's a pleasure to have you here with us. And yeah, I saw that you have a really different background because you are descendant of Italian and you live in Germany, then you change to UK and now live in Spain. Okay, and Spain, it's a beautiful country. I've been to Spain last year, but I just went to Sevilla, one of the hostess city that I have already been in my life. And well, but I think that this is a really interesting life. Okay, so you said that interesting point too. You work for 6 months during the winter, during the summer and the winter. What do you do during winter for 6 months?
There are a lot of things to do. You get very creative. First of all, I do a lot of activities in the water. I do free diving, I do kite surfing, and there's a lot of time for yourself. So, you know, there's a lot of, it's very difficult to explain it. You know, it's very curious to just find yourself. You know, there's a lot of things to discover about yourself, just yourself. And if you go to work 8 hours a day, you come home and you're tired. You can't really put effort in it. So you have really here the chance to, you know, to have 6 months for yourself, to do hobbies, to discover yourself, to do whatever you want. There are a lot of lazy days as well, for sure. But, you know, by having a certain routine, you get into really nice things to do. But you need to be also, this kind of freedom is not for everyone. Because some people don't know what to do when they don't work.
Yeah.
So you have to get used to that as well and
That's
put
true.
a lot of discipline into it as well. Because
That's
if
true.
not, you waste easily a day, and after, you know, it's easily to waste a week, and then you waste a month, and then the 6 months are gone. So you really need to give yourself a proper routine and discipline in order to make the best out of this kind of freedom and to grow. That's the only way, to have time for yourself.
Great. And do you, out of curiosity, you that live in different nations, countries, do you think that the influence of in your English, because you are speaking English, do you think that what's the biggest influence of language of country in your language? Can
What do you
elaborate
mean?
that?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I think that I'm asking what's the strongest influence of spoken English in your English, because you lived in Germany, you live in UK, and you
Okay.
live in Spain. Okay, so this is
Well, my accent is a bit mixed. So I don't have a really Italian accent. I can change my accent. It's very easy to play with the accent, you know. So it's not really German either. So it's a very mixed accent. But if you know accents, if you're kind of, you know, into accents, you can hear straight away out that I have a German accent. Okay? For people that know, they will realize it straight away. But for people that don't know, it's very difficult to actually find out where I'm from. And that's with every language. So if I speak Spanish, it's the same thing. They think actually I'm Brazilian when I speak Spanish. And when I speak German, that's my mother tongue, obviously. You know, I speak it in a way, but I'm also losing a little bit, you know, the German language, because the English is becoming more and more important. Spanish is becoming more important, and Italian, obviously, people think I'm from Rome when I speak Italian, because even there you have differences between the north, the south, and the middle of Italy. But I am from the south, actually. I'm from Sicily. Well, my parents are. I never lived in Italy in my life. So Italy, I only know from vacations.
Okay,
So it
great.
depends. You know, you have lots of influences, but at the end, it's you know, it's English, and England is just a wide-spoken English language worldwide. So you have differences between the Canadians, the Australians, the South Africans. Everyone speaks slightly different English, but and you can hear that out, and it's the same for Spanish. The South American Spanish is different than the Spanish that we speak here. And then you have also in Ibiza, you have two languages. We speak Catalan and we speak Spanish. So there are two official languages in Ibiza as well.
Sure. Okay, thank
How
you.
many languages do you speak, Angelino? How many languages do you speak?
4. I only speak 4 languages. I do speak a bit of Portuñol because I've been to Brazil, but
We all
I
speak.
don't really. But I don't
Brazil,
really,
we all speak Portuguese.
count it as a language.
And can you easily switch between the languages you know? Like, I don't know, you seem to be very proficient, at least, I believe, English and German. Can you switch easily?
Yeah, you can switch easily. It's no problem. The switching
That's
is no
great.
problem. The
How about,
reading, well, yeah.
how about Spanish? How is your Spanish? Is it good? Have you been using
Well,
in your...
my Spanish is because as an Italian also, I thought everybody, it's very similar. For Italians, it's very easy to learn Spanish, but even though it's a different language. So if you want to learn a language, you have to learn. A language doesn't come, to you. You have to learn in order to actually, if you want to really speak a language, you have to learn a language. You have to study a language. There's no other way around. There's no shortcut either. You can watch movies, you can listen to music, but if you really want to learn a language, you have to study it. There's no other way around.
Yeah, well, language is kind of a tool that you need to use it, right? It's a tool you must use it, otherwise you lose it. It's gonna get rusty. You're gonna lose your skills.
Yes, you have to use it as well. You have to use the languages. But I have for example, my family, I speak in Italian. I have friends I speak in Germany. I have other friends I speak in Italian and English. Then I have friends I mix, for example, with my family, with my sister, for example. I speak in 2, even 3 different languages. So, it's quite nice as well to actually change languages.
Yes, for sure. I've learned Italian a couple of years ago, more for an international certificate, and I indeed got the certificate after the course. But now I must be honest, I can't communicate in Italian anymore as I used to. So yeah, it's something you need to apply, you need to use.
Angelino, it's kind of funny. Sorry to interrupt. Because you say, oh, I only speak 4 languages. I think like for us Brazilians, it's funny because I think 90% of the Brazilian population speak Portuguese and not even that good Portuguese, you know what I mean? So for us to hear you saying, oh, I only speak 4 languages, it's really funny because I know that in Europe, people have the tendency to speak more than 1 language. But like I have my friend here from Turkey, Evren, and Turkish is a very difficult language. It's also very different. Evren, can you please tell us how many languages you speak? And what do you think when you hear, I only speak 4 languages?
Well, I mean, yes, they say that Turkish is difficult. I mean, yeah, it doesn't sound similar to anything because when you look at the map, we are in the center of the world. So we are a very old culture. We are a mixture of East and West. So many words from Eastern or Western parts of the world, from Western culture, Eastern culture. I don't know. I mean, like normally I speak English, Turkish, and I used to speak German, but as there is nobody that I can make practice about German, and although I'm making business with German people, we speak in English. So I already my German is very bad now. I can understand like 60%, but when I speak like 30%. And about Brazil, I remember when we used to work in the ship together with the same time, and your Portuguese, of course, you speak Portuguese, but also Brazilians are lucky because it's similar to Spanish. I mean, at least you can understand Spanish, at least you can understand Italian. They are some kind of similar.
Yes.
So when you know one of them, basically you understand 3 of them. So you are a little bit lucky. But your Portuguese, and you remember we had Portuguese friends in our ship, and their Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese sound very different to me. I could understand the difference, you know. So
that's true.
So that's what I can say.
All
And
right, thank you.
I have a question to Angelino.
Yes, please.
Hi, Angelino. Nice to meet you. I have been to Spain several times, many times to Italy. Of course, both of them are Mediterranean countries and Mediterranean culture. So you know both of them very well. So what is the difference in people's character generally? I mean, in every country there are any kind of person, of course, but when you look at the general characteristics of people, what can you say about the differences of Italian people and Spanish people?
Well, Spain is in a Greenwich zone. That means normally we should have the time. We have the time zone from London. That means normally we should have the same time that we have in London, but we don't. We have the time that you have, for example, in Brussels. That means it's unique in the world. That means in Spain we sleep 1 hour longer, and we go to bed 1 hour later. And it's very unique in the world. That's the only country in the world that is not abiding the rules by Greenwich, by the time zone of Greenwich. So even the further south you go, like in Andalusia, the more you have the sun till in the summer, till 11:30. The sunset is at 11:30. So imagine at what time they go to bed, really late. And in terms of people, it's very similar, the culture. Even the food is very similar. The spices, for example, it's like salt, pepper, and then they have normally parsley. Voila. They have parsley and garlic. That's the spices they use. In both countries, they use very similar spices. They don't really use the proper other spices, like in Morocco, for example, or even in Turkey, use other spices. So times of food is very similar. And also the music I find very similar, because you have songs that are translated from Italian to Spanish and the other way around. And you have musicians that sing in both languages as well. So at the end, we have the same background, which is the Roman Empire, for both countries. So they're very similar in a lot of ways, and they have been always mixed. You have people with grandparents in Italy and the other way around, because the Spanish also conquered south of Italy, and the Italian always with the Roman Empire went into Spain. So it's a very mixed culture. At the end, we're very, very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, language-wise, traditionally, the Romans used to speak Latin, but every little province used to have their own kind of slight different language. And that's how the languages actually developed. That's why Spain speaks Spanish with different, even in Spain, you have 4 official languages. You have Basque, Catalan, Gallego, and the Castellano. So you have 4 official languages in Spain. In Italy, you don't. In Italy, you have dialects. They are not official languages, but dialects. But they can be very different to Italian as well. So they're very different dialects from the north to the south. They don't really understand each other at all.
And also, you are from, like, your origins are from southern part of Italy, from Sicily.
Yes.
Maybe,
yes.
I don't know, Messina, or which
No,
part of
it's called Agrigento. Sicily is called Agrigento. That's where the temples are. And that's actually the poorest region, the poorest province of Italy, and one of the poorest in Europe. It's still very poor. When I go there, for example, there are holes on the street. When I was a child, I used to go, the same hole is still there. They don't fix the hole in the street. You understand? Like, after 30, 35 years, you go there, it's still, that hole is still there. It's like, it's crazy. It's no development.
Yeah, but I find the southern part of Italy always more interesting. I have been to Naples many times, Napoli. That's my favorite Italian city. I have been many times to Verona because of my business. I'm in marble business. So I have been to Verona many times, or northern part of Italy. But I always found the southern part of Italy very interesting, because the culture is more mixed, in my opinion. It's more mixture of some different cultures, like some Mediterranean cultures there. Also maybe from Africa, or I don't know. It's, like, also Malta is very interesting to me because of the same reasons, because also very mixed and different to me. And I like the southern part of Italy, the culture there, very interesting for me.
Well, Naples is, they say Naples is the South American city of Europe.
Yeah.
But now it's changing as well because it's becoming, now they have a lot of tourism, so it's becoming safer, it's becoming cleaner,
Yeah.
they're investing a bit more money. But if you would have gone 20, 25 years to Naples, it was very wild, and it still is in some areas. And Malta is the only area they speak a kind of Arabic, but they write in our language, they write like we do, like Europeans, you know, they write in our calligraphy, but it sounds really Arabic, and it's not really an accent, so I don't understand Maltese. But they all speak Italian because they have the Italian television. You know, they're so close that they get Italian programs, and they all speak Italian very well, and English, of course, and they're Maltese, and Maltese is a very, very Arabic. Well, it's Arabic at the end for me. Sounds very Arabic, but they don't know how to write Arabic.
Yeah, and I think Sicily is no more like a mafia place, you know, because before we went to Sicily, they told me that because I was a tourist and I had like 20 years ago, I had a football shirt on me. It was a shirt of Roma. And when I was about to walk in the street, my Italian friends told me, "Oh, you will have a problem with this football jersey of Roma here." And in the street, some guys told me something I didn't understand. But I think before it was like more dangerous, but now I don't think so, huh?
Yeah, it's the same with Barcelona and Madrid. You don't go with a jersey of Madrid to Barcelona, and you don't do it the other way around. So it's very, they're very, unfortunately, those places, both countries are very football crazy. Football is a major, major thing here. It is, because even now there was a World Cup. Now the European Cup. They won the European Cup, and they really like football, and they put a lot of money into football, like the Italians do as well.
Yeah, true.
All right. Tati or Cavallo, do you have questions? Oh, Tati's coughing. You know, Angelino, I'm still very curious. Like, I want to go back to Renato's question because I would like to understand your life better. Like, you say your mother tongue is German, right?
Yes.
But both your parents were Italians, so they were speaking Italian to you when you were a baby, I assume.
Yes, exactly. I learned Italian from my parents, from
So
my
there you
parents,
go. So
grandparents at home,
before you go to
uncles.
school, your influence was only Italian, right?
Yeah,
No.
only Italians. We used to have like 1 hour, 2 hours per week in like a kind of Italian, but it didn't really help. We didn't really do much there. We watched movies, and we didn't really study the language at all. And my Italian is not perfect. I think I speak 4 languages, but none of them is really perfect.
For me, the same. I know exactly what you're saying. Like all the languages that I speak, I feel really weak in all of them. But anyhow, it's not about me, it's about you. So how old were you when you moved to the UK, and why? Did you go alone?
Yes, I moved I finished school, and then I was 20 years old, and I moved to the UK because my English was very shit after my school English. So I was like, I really want to learn that language. So I said, okay, let's move to London. And that was the beginning of Ryanair. Ryanair used to have like 10 Deutschmark flights, to London. And then, I have that kind of money, let's go to London. Didn't realizing that London was very expensive. And then I just moved to London, and I just slowly, find a job, find a room, a place to stay, and so on. And then I stayed for quite a while, and until 2008, I stayed for 8 years in London.
But you
And in
didn't know
London, that's where you
anyone
really
there. You didn't have family. You knew nobody. You just
nothing. We just new start. You're very young. When you're young, it's like, what are you scared of? There's no point being scared in life. Just leave it.
But you
there's
just
no point.
you just left the country, Germany. You say, which country should I go to learn English? UK. Okay,
exactly.
off I go.
Could have been Australia as well. If I would have had 10 euro flights to Australia, I would have gone to Australia. But I had 10 euro flights to London, Deutschmark, so I went to London. And then I moved back to Germany, and I tried Germany again, but it didn't work out. And then I just realized that I gonna fulfill the dream and living next to the sea and in the sun, because it's really different if you have the sun and the sea close by. It's a different approach to life at all.
Yeah, and then if you're continuing in Renato's question, it's like for us, can you please tell us, like, you work 6 months crazy, right? 7 days a week, I guess. It's like working on a ship. You have all the gases from the hotels. You're going everywhere. The island is packed with tourists. So you're working a lot. But then you have the 6 months that you don't work. But how do you do that financially? Because I bet if you want to go for sports, water sports, they are expensive, right? So how do you manage not only to fill up your free time, but just to make sure you're going to be fine financially before the start of the new season?
So when you work 6 months, when you work a year, actually, you get 4 months of unemployment money. And because you have that unemployment money, and in Ibiza, there are no jobs now because there's no tourism, so there are very little jobs. I mean,
so you have a government
you could find a job. Exactly. So you have a kind of government support, but it's very little because Ibiza is very expensive, as you have seen when you've been here.
Yes.
But you get some kind of support, but only for 4 months. So for those 4 months, you get a bit of support. And then you have to make a saving, and you have to make good calculations. And, the less you spend, the less you have to work, and the more time you have. It's about time, It's about what are you spending for? Do you really need another pair of shoes? Do you really need another jacket? Do you understand? So
yes.
The less you spend, the more time you have for yourself, because the less you have to work. So this is a kind of, formula, life formula for me.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
the seeker and the hound.
Because think about it. I mean, think about it. If you have to move a house, let's say you have to move a house today, how many things you're gonna take with you? How many things you're gonna throw away? How many things you really, really, really don't need at all? So the more you have, less and less spending money, more time for yourself, and less working at the end.
I would say you mastered capitalism.
No. I'm learning. I'm not a perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm just talking into the mirror here.
You found a smart way to balance, money, life, leisure time. That's very interesting.
Yes, but I have no kids as well. Once you have kids, it's a different story as well. But it's nice to pass that over to the next generation as well, because how many things we buy, they just look at it for 10 seconds and then they throw it away, then look at it anymore. So sometimes it's also, get to know yourself first, play with your hands, with your feet, instead of buying toys and toys and toys.
Are you a follower of minimalism?
Of when?
Minimalism.
I love that, minimalism, but in everything, even in eating. We don't need to eat steak every day or whatever, lentils and rice, that's it. Very little. The less you eat, the healthier you are as well, anyway.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
I think Renato has lots to learn, because Renato, he lives also at sea, but it's very busy where he lives, I guess. Cannot be compared to an island, right? Renato, tell Angelino where you live, because it's very busy. You have a busy life.
I too live in an island, because because Santos is located in an island. Some Santos and Santos, two cities that belongs to an island. Okay, but it's not like Ibiza.
You're so busy. You're so busy all the time. So
yeah, because I have a lot of stuff to do in my life. I like to invest in the stock market, and have other obligations that take my time. But I like to ride my motorcycle. Okay, don't forget that.
you see, luxury life.
It's part of my life. But Angelino, I think that it's interesting, because the population of Ibiza nowadays, it's around, I don't know, 1,000 people, 1,020 people, and I think that this population triples or becomes quite 4 times more during the summer. how do you work with this lot of this crowd when you have the when you're in the summertime?
Well, it gets very busy. We have 110,000 legal beds, okay, rooms. And then we have probably as many illegal, because it's illegal, you know, to rent out your house. It's Airbnb is also illegal. And if they catch you, they're like very, very hard fines. And normally what they do is all the party area, also the biggest club in the world, used to be in Ibiza as well, the biggest foam parties in Ibiza, the most expensive restaurant in the world is also in Ibiza. It's very expensive. We only have European tourists. So there are no Chinese, Americans, Canadians, or South Americans. Because when you come to Europe, you want to go to Rome, you want to go to Paris, you want to go to London. You don't think about Ibiza. So it's a very European destination. And it's very expensive. You can come here for 1 week, or you can go for 2 weeks to Mallorca, or you can go for 4 weeks in Turkey, for example, and pay the same price. So it's very expensive to come here. It's very expensive. The people that come here on holiday, well, I'll show you an example. We had like a family, they booked 3 rooms. They spent, with flights from Germany, 3 rooms, 10,000 euro, all inclusive. There's flight, food, 1 week. All inclusive, 10,000 euros. That's a lot of money for 3 rooms. But people come. It's still a very busy destination, and it becomes very, very busy. So, for example, now there are no direct flights to German destinations. But in the summer, there are direct flights to nearly every German city, because they're like coming, going, coming, going, coming, going. They live. That's our business here, is tourism. There's no other things to do. Plus, we have a neighbor island, which is called Formentera. In order to go to Formentera, you have to come to Ibiza, take the boat, and with the boat, you go to Formentera. And Formentera is a nudist island. That means everybody can be naked. All the beaches are nudist beaches in Formentera. And if people like it, they really do it. They're completely nudist there. It's
it's better because I don't have to bring a big luggage to go to.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Yeah, but I think that's I'm comparing the sorry, Mateus. I think I'm comparing the life in Ibiza against Ilha da Madeira in Portugal, because Ilha da Madeira became a very more popular and a place for wealth people. Yeah. And it's become expensive. When I was there last year, I remember that I saw many people come from other parts of Europe visit Ilha Madeira. So the prices there increased a lot. Okay. Well, Ilha Madeira belongs to Portugal. Yeah, it's part of Portugal. But I think that's they have a kind of independent life in terms of economy and things like that, because the prices are totally different from the continent. Yeah. But I think that Ibiza is worse in terms of cost. Yeah. I think that Ibiza must be really expensive. Yeah. In spite of it's not it don't take so far. It's don't like so it's not so expensive to travel from São Paulo to Ibiza. It's not expensive in terms of flight, but I think that stay in Ibiza must be really expensive. Yeah, really.
Yes, it's not cheap. For sure, it's not cheap. Anywhere you stay here, it's going to cost you, definitely. Yeah. And people are now coming even, some people are actually, some tourists are just coming for clubbing. They're just coming, doing the clubs, sleeping at the beach, and then going to the club, and then during the day sleeping at the beach. So they're coming without accommodations. You have lots of them. Also you have a lot of people, workers coming from the main island and coming with furgonetas, with little vans. So they don't have to rent apartments. They come, they work 6 months, they sleep in a van, and then they go. Because if not, they can't save the money. Because if they have to rent an apartment, they would go back without, not enough money. Because you still can do a lot of money in Ibiza, because, tourism and expensive tourism and posh tourism, people, they give, they don't look at the money. The kind of tourism you have here, they don't look at the money. They give you 10 euro, they give you 100 euro, they can give you even more tips. So they really have a lot of money. They don't look at it. The problem is that if you have to rent an apartment, then you have other costs, and those costs are very expensive. And me personally, I did the mistake twice. I went to London in 2000, and I didn't buy anything. I would have bought something, I would have left and made a lot of money. I did the same mistake here. I came 12 years ago. I didn't buy anything, and now the prices went up. So if I move again, the next place I move to, the first thing I'm going to do is buy it. No more renting. Anywhere I'm going to move, I'm buying it now. I'm not going to do the mistake the 3 times.
People, I think that's common. People, what's the Cartagena? It's close to Ibiza, isn't it? Cartagena and Alicante, 2 cities that are close to.
Well, yeah, it's not far away. You can take a boat.
Oh, yeah? Oh, it's not so far.
You can take a boat. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Tati. She's not coughing anymore, so let's take the opportunity. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yes. So Angelino, how is the Christmas traditions in Ibiza? What do you guys usually do for Christmas? How Christmas is celebrated?
Well, I'm actually changing apartment. My friend is going to come over with his girlfriend, taking over my apartment, and I'm going to go to my girlfriend, which is in Holland, in Zeeland, and I'm going to spend Christmas over there with my girlfriend in Zeeland for this Christmas. So I've done a couple of Christmas here, and they're very traditional. They have like they dress up like a Ku Klux Klan. They have got those hats, and they carry around Jesus Christ. They do all this kind of things. So even in the Eastern time, they do have a lot of Catholics traditions here. They do. Plus, every little village, it has a name after the saint: Santa Eulalia, Santa Antonio, San Carlos, Jesus, San Jose, San Juan. So every little village here has like a saint, the name of a saint. But we have a very mixed population. There are a lot of Moroccan people, for example, living here. There's a very big community here, and they're just not only coming here on their own. They're coming really with their families. They have their kids here. They have their wives here, and they're doing all the labor and hard jobs at the end. Because if you own, I don't know, if you own 10 apartments, you're not going to do any labor jobs anymore. That's not for you. You understand?
True. And how is the food? There's any traditional food that usually people
Yes, there's paella,
cook
for example.
Christmas?
Paella is a
Oh yeah, that's
for example, there's a guy here. He in Ibiza. He is the best paella maker of the Balearic Islands. His name is Mohammed, and he does the best paella of the Balearic Islands. He's got a boat. He does fishing, so he does gets his own fish, and then with the fish he gets, he does a very good paella. He goes to the houses, and you can book him, and he comes to your house, and he does a paella in your house. So it's a very nice paella. Is a very nice. It's very fishy. Traditional. They eat a lot of fish because I've never seen a cow in Ibiza. So all the meat comes from the mainland. We've got a couple of sheep, but they're not really. There's not enough food in Ibiza. All the food comes by the ferry. So if the ferry doesn't come, we could run out of food here easily because we don't have food production. All the food comes from the mainland.
That's probably why it's so expensive as well, too, right?
Exactly. Because everything as I said, I've never seen a cow. So where is all the meat coming from? From the mainland. It's the same with everything. Everything that we have and use here come from the mainland. That's why it's also expensive, because there's always an additional transport cost on top of every product.
Got it. I do have another question.
Yes, please.
I know there's a lot of like popular wineries there, wieners. Have you visited any of it? Do you have a favorite one that you recommend?
Nowadays, here in Ibiza, it's very popular to drink biodynamic wines. I don't know if you know biodynamic wines. They harvest. They look at the moon. There's a special process of the whole biodynamic. And also, there is a natural wine. Natural wine means they just squeeze the grapes and put it in a bottle. That's it, without filtering, without putting anything in it. So it's a kind of juicy wine. But personally, I stopped drinking alcohol for 5 years, so I'm not into alcohol anymore. I don't drink alcohol since 5 years, so I don't even know how it tastes anymore.
Wow, cool.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's go. Avren.
Angelino, I want to come back to the subject that you mentioned before. It is quite interesting for me. You told that something about being in need or not being in need. Well, I think this is a great subject that I always think about it in my mind. You know, being in a needy mood is something else, and being in not a moody mood, not a needy mood, is something that someone has to work on himself or herself. This is not something easy, and I think this is a level, which is a level that needs to be achieved. To be honest, I mean, to be maybe not to be the happiest person, but to be peaceful and joyful without needing something. So this is something has to be worked on it. I don't know. I mean, it is also similar to Buddhism teachings also, but not only there. But in my life, I sometimes think that sometimes like aiming something, a goal, setting a goal and working for it, this is also something else that makes me grow, makes me develop myself. Because while working for that goal, I develop myself. In fact, the goal can be something material, maybe, but while I'm fighting for it or learning and doing something, I develop myself. But on the other hand, of course, this we should not be in a needy mood. So when you talk about it like 20 minutes ago, have you also worked on yourself about this, or were you not needing anything since you were a child? What do you think about these things?
No, of course not, man. I grew up in Germany. My head is squared, so it's very difficult to actually,
Sorry, my
you have
head
to
is
unlearn.
scared.
Yeah, you have to unlearn so many things and make sure that your head is becoming round again. Or you have permafrost. You know, you have like lots of ice. You have to break the ice, break the ice, break the ice, constantly break the ice to make, the flower come out. It's very difficult, very, very difficult, especially if you grow up in a place like Germany, because they do have a different way of socializing people. And it's not, well, it's their way, but I could always feel and sense something in myself. It's not my way. I can't. And I was very lucky to actually always follow my intuitions. Ask yourself, ask yourself, be sensitive, and ask yourself always. The more sensitive you become, the more you can actually find answers within yourself. And it's amazing. It's amazing, and nobody teaches us those things, because I don't know why, but they don't. So there are a lot of things that you have to teach yourself, and the older you become, the more you get to know those things. But for me personally, first comes the body. Your body is your house. So make sure your house is fixed, and what health. Health is wealth. So like when you have your house and there's a broken window or you have no water, you fix it straight away. But with your body, you wait, and that's wrong. With the body, you have to be the same thing. Something is in pain, something is not good. Go into it and fix it. And then once you have, a body that you can actually don't feel, the body becomes like air. You shouldn't even think about your body. You should get up, you should get down, whatever you do, you should not feel the body. And then comes your thoughts, controlling the thoughts. And that's where I am at the moment. I fixed my body in a certain way, and now I'm in my thoughts. How can I, think about what I want to think, why I have all this, you know, diarrhea of thoughts. You know, sometimes thoughts come up and I don't know why. You know, those kind of things, you know. And that's where I am at the moment, you know, to work on thoughts, to make sure that my thoughts are pleasant thoughts and nice thoughts instead of always being, you know, negatives, you know. And it's work and it's possible because I've seen people, you know, I have coaches, I have teachers, and they, you know, I look up them and I look up to them, and they're really, you know, wow. You can look at them and say, hey, that's what I want to get. You know, they're like always calm, always positive, in shape, and some of them are pretty old as well. You know, and they're just, you know, this nice people to look up to.
I think was a great question, Erwin. Thank you so much for the question. And the answer was exactly what we all wanted to hear. And it feels like even if you're there, for me, it's not that far, but for the Brazilians, you're across the world. I think they felt your energy. That was so good. Thanks a lot for doing that. Okay, Tati, go ahead.
Thanks for sharing that, Angelino. I think that was very profound for sure, and insightful. So I want to ask you this, now that you're in the process of like fixing your mind, how do you deal with the amount of information that comes our way every day? And are you someone that is active in any kind of social media, or you decided to take a break of that as well to fix your mind?
Well, it's always with the, you know, with the news, it's always they call it FOMO, fear of missing out. What are you missing out for not reading the news? You know, like at the end, it's not easy not to actually look at the news. But I have sometimes weeks where I don't look into the news, and then I look at the news again, and it's no, it's the same thing again. So you don't really miss anything out. So it's obviously I get hooked as well. You know, like once you start watching those reels, it's very easy to get hooked. And then you look at the watch and you spend 1-2 hours on your mobile watching stupid, funny, short videos because they are made for that. You know, they are made to, you know, to make you hooked. And I'm a human as well, like everyone else. So everybody gets hooked on those. But it's a waste of time at the end. You know, time is so precious. You know, like there are a lot of things that we can do, and you know, it's just like, and this kind of things are just eating your time. And once you realize that, you know, that's the best thing. Like realizing how much time you have left. I mean, count the weeks that you're gonna be living. You know, they're like, or count the days, and then realize how many hours you waste on those nonsense. And then this is, you know, the more you cut, the better you get. You know, but it's obviously it's a process. You're not gonna cut, you know, straight away. It's work. It's work. You know, it's work, and you know, be present, because a lot of time you're watching this social media, you do it unconscious. It's like eating. Are you hungry? Are you really hungry? Who is hungry? Is it your head or is it your belly? You know, ask yourself sometimes when you start eating in front of the television, you know, are you hungry or are you not hungry? It's the same with, you know, what are you doing right now? You know, why are you watching this? Or should you not go to bed? Why are you not really tired? You know, just, you know, ask yourself and find really, you know, becoming sensitive for those things. That's the way, you know, I'm doing it. But obviously I'm not out of there.
How old are you? How old are you, Angelino?
How old? 44.
24. Okay. Good to know.
I'm born 1980, 44. I hope to get at least another 44 years, 88. Good 88
That's gonna
years,
happen for
without
sure if you
trolley.
keep going that way. Okay, Renato, have a question.
Angelino, a very interesting point that you said about social media and the stay free of these amounts of information that you don't need, that are waste time, that makes us waste time. But again, I got curious about something that you said about drink. You said that you don't drink alcoholic drinks for 10 years now. And it's a kind of 5. Okay. It's a kind of promise. or is are you considered that?
Well, I used to work as a bartender for long years, so my job was making people drunk. So I know the effect of alcohol very well. But then, you know, there was a moment where I just switched it, and I don't miss it at all. I don't miss it, and at the end, it's poison. You know, it's all. Once you realize how actually how really bad alcohol is for a human body, you know, you do yourself so much favor for not drinking it anymore. It's amazing, and I don't miss it anymore. So alcohol is really, it's out of my life completely. I don't miss it anymore, and I was never really, you know, I had bad days, bad nights. I was drunk, but working as a bartender, I was not really drinking behind the bar, you know, because I knew always, you know, I could see the effect of alcohol on people. So I was very careful. But then, you know, I just decided for not drinking anymore. I don't miss it anymore. For me, well, it's just not existent anymore. Plus, it saves you a lot of money as well.
That's true. I don't see any hands. Cavallo, would you like to ask a question, maybe?
Yeah, I'm curious about, for example, drinking. It's a new movement. I notice a lot of people stop drinking, maybe because I'm getting older and going around with the older people. But for me personally, it is social, the drinking. I tend to drink when people drink around me. And how do you do about that?
Yeah, it's quite difficult because I don't even drink coffee. So when we go out, you know, I just order a bottle of water. Or, you know, when they have some, you know, something, I can go for it. But if not, you know, it's the same like smoking. Just because somebody's smoking, you shouldn't be smoking. It's the same like drinking. I mean, if they want to drink, let them drink. If you don't want to drink, you know, once you start drinking, it's very difficult also just to drink one glass. You know, once you start drinking, it's 1, 2, 3, and so on. But at the end, you know, if the social, you know, you should ground yourself so much that whatever happens outside shouldn't affect you. If somebody smokes, let him smoke. Somebody drinks, let him drink. Somebody, you know, I'm doing whatever I want to do, you know, and I'm controlling myself. You know, don't fall into traps. You know, just, you know, you have to control yourself, and don't let them influence you.
I have a former girlfriend that said to me, "How can you survive in this world without drinking?"
Yeah.
It
She's
depends
probably paid
on her word, right?
She's paid by the industry, by the alcohol industry. It's a big industry as well, the alcohol industry.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
I think it depends on where you live, who you surround yourself with. Because
as well, obviously, you get new people as well surrounding you. If you have a drinking partner, you know, then it's the same like also in a relationship. If you have a girlfriend or a partner that drinks, then it's also very difficult. You know?
Angelino, can you tell us a little bit about your family? So now, for instance, you're going to the Netherlands with your friends. How about your parents? Do they go often back to Italy, or how often do you go to visit them? Because now, how many hours are you apart from your parents? Are they still in Germany?
Well, it's 2 hours. No, yeah, they're in Frankfurt. They're 2 hours flight from Frankfurt. Well, I'm going to Mallorca this weekend, and then I'm coming back. Then I'm going to Holland. Then I'm coming back. Then I'm going to Germany. Then I'm coming back. And then in Easter, I'm going to Italy. So I have a lot of flights. And in Italy, in Germany, I will meet my parents. And in Italy, I will meet my parents again.
Okay, so you're kind of close.
Yes, Europe is very small, guys. Brazil is bigger than Europe, for sure. Brazil is bigger than Europe. So Europe is a very small place. And the flights is very good connected. You can fly everywhere. Yeah, of course. For example, in 2024, this year, I was 3 times in Germany.
Okay. That's good. I cannot say the same for me, because living in Belgium is very difficult to go to Brazil. And it's been 2 years and a half. So now next year, we are not going back to Ibiza, but we are going to Brazil.
Very good. I would prefer that anyway. Do that.
Yes,
You
and
will
you know,
enjoy it a lot more.
Angelino, when we came back from Ibiza this year, I told my husband it was lovely, it was amazing, it was one of our best vacations ever. But I told him we are not going back ever because it was so expensive. Or
Yes.
we're gonna go alone so we can be naked and relax for Menteira. And
Yes, it is very.
Renato
It is
said,
very
not much
beautiful,
luggage,
but very
try
expensive.
to not drink so much alcohol and save up some money. So we're gonna say Ibiza was worth it and it was not that expensive as our first time. But anyhow, after talking to you this hour, I definitely want to go back to Ibiza, especially seeing how you live there. It's so nice. So maybe we can move to Ibiza someday. You get inspired by
Yeah.
you.
I show you.
Show us
That's
again.
like where I-
Oh, you see that? What I'm doing here in this great Belgium. If I could have that. It looks so nice.
This is where I go swim. This is actually my pool. I go swimming here quite a lot, and I fish octopus here. I like to fish octopus.
Oh, really?
That's nice.
Yes.
Seafood.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sold. I'm moving to Spain. I'm gonna figure it out how
I
I'm
think
gonna do
after
that.
this
So I
session, everybody has to visit Ibiza once. And then guys try to be like you said, just go sleep at the beach so you can save some money because it's really so expensive.
At the end,
really...
it's not what you do for a living. It's where you live. It's more important for me. For me, it's more important where you live instead of thinking like, yeah, I want a career, I want to have a good job. No, it's where you live that is, the thing.
Yes, after
and that's
this
why
session, I'm thinking about quitting my job and no more expensive vacations. Just go live in Ibiza.
And I really have in my thoughts, I have lots of Brazil in my thoughts. I mean, I really would like to go and live in Brazil.
So next time you move to Brazil and you buy a house right away. So you're hooked.
Straight away. This time straight away.
Okay, guys, we just ran out of time. It was a pleasure. It was really cool. So nice, Angelino, to have you here. I met you not long ago, but I hope you're going to stay in my life, especially in the in these meetings and in the Netherlands when you're here. It's like not even 2 hours from Zeeland, so maybe you can see each other again anytime in the future. And guys, thank you so much for being here. I wish you all a lovely weekend and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Angelino. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Angelino.